Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a good morning or afternoon when you're watching this. This is Tracy Brown, and I don't mean for the title of this one to be controversial or really, it's not really purposely about ruffling feathers, but it just keeps coming up. So it's time to talk about it. And I have many times talked about my own, I've gone through it, the struggles of allowing movement to be just what it is versus something that we use to fix everything in terms of our mood or our weight, especially like our own personal feelings of worth. And I'm here to take all that off the table today to help us understand what movement is for, what it can do, and how we misuse movement as a way to cope. So all of that comes from a place of love and compassion. And the reason I'm making this video today is because I've had probably 3 instances in the last less than a week, maybe more, or maybe less days actually, around just centered around movement and what it can do and what it can't do for us, and just this thing about having to change our bodies to be better at movement, or using movement to change our bodies, therefore being more healthy. And it's just time to really get at what it is we're actually bypassing. So a little bit of background on me really quick so you can know where I'm coming from and how I evolved to kind of get to this viewpoint. So I grew up a pretty active kid, just playing sports. So movement for me was about honestly pushing myself, having fun, and as a means of connection actually with my dad. And he was kind of and I think I have that personality type that just naturally has some desire to move and push. I think we all have that desire to move ourselves, for sure. I mean, babies are born with moving and wiggling, and that's natural. But I think all of us have different, everything's on a spectrum. So, you know, if I'm having a day home and nothing to do, I'm not a person who probably wants to watch TV and read books all day long, even though I love doing those things, and I can do those things for hours at a time and not move. But after a while, I will feel the urge to do it, and I want to go outside and pull some weeds or walk around my yard or take a walk, or even do something more vigorous if I feel like it, depending on my energy level. So I have that in me too. I think we all do to different degrees. So I think, and then really, as I recognize that part of my coping strategy for all this built up and expressed emotion and nervous system energy in my body from different things that have happened throughout my history, I use movement as a way to bypass that a lot. So you'll see that I see that in my clients all the time, that this need to go exercise a lot is a way they're trying to burn off some of the adrenaline from the fight or flight, and also trying to bypass anxiety and either squish that down or basically outrun it. And that's very, very common that I see a lot. So the reason I'm bringing that up is a lot of times when people stop doing that, a lot of anxiety is going to come to the surface from being pushed down into whatever cells and crevices in our bodies and our nervous system are going to be in. So there's that one end of the spectrum. And then, we have this other end of the spectrum where we're all pretty stressed out to the place where we kind of get into this place of just trying to get through our day and survive some stuff, which is the overstress of our lives. And we get to a place of a lot of habitual just doing what we got to do, driving places and being at our offices and all that, and sitting. And so we do this for many, many years to the place where we find that now we have some underuse, not injuries, but just, from sitting and driving and just having these habitual ways of coping with our lives, and we end up in, let's say, physical therapy. And then you go to the physical therapist, and, some are not going to bring up nutrition in your way, and some people are going to be really, really desiring to do that. The reason I'm bringing up that is because I had this inquiry from a physical therapy student, and wanting me to help them, to help with people's progress in physical therapy, talk about nutrition. So I was really clear about they wanted me to help with their presentation. So I'm looking at their slides, and I'm seeing where it's like, doing the kind of like the fatness is bad mongering. And I was quick to like, okay, I want you to research health at every size and look at all the ways in which people get to this place of either overuse or underuse and what's going on, and stop blaming their weight and more look at the things like, honestly, their trauma history and their if you've ever heard the ACE study, their adverse childhood events that get people to the place where they're not connected in their bodies, or they don't want to be in their bodies, or they've overused their bodies, or they've been chronic dieting, and how has that impacted their overuse. And just because they look a certain way doesn't mean they're not doesn't mean that they don't move their bodies. It's just because of the chronic yo-yoing of their weight's higher than it ever was because of either chronic dieting or some kind of hormonal thing that got caused from chronic stress. Dieting isn't going to fix that, and it's not that nutrition doesn't matter. And let's look at some ways we can get some nutrition deficiencies helped to help with some of the inflammatory issues. We really need to be looking at like, how can we help the body in its current state strengthen and move the best way it can for its current situation. So this is the education I'm giving this PT student who wants me to be a resource and a referral source for their practice. And it's like, and trying to educate your clients about like better nutrition isn't probably going to be the thing that like fixes everything. In fact, you might be doing more harm than good. So let's not go there first. Let's look at the big picture of this person. So this is one of the reasons I'm doing this video, because, you might go to a physician, a PT, a different kind of person, whatever it is, and they are very, very trying to come from a good place. And, so it's kind of up to us sometimes to get really clear about our histories with movement and how come we're here, so we can be better advocates for the people that are actually trying to help us and steer them away from shame-based helping, and more about like, I'm a person and a whole person, and here's all the ways in which things that happen in my life, and I don't really need any more nutrition lesson. I need actually XYZ. Or maybe a person does know how to do some things, but because of their chronic stress or the ways they've actually used that information, it's not that helpful for them. What I now need, help me strengthen the body I have, versus blame my weight for the condition that my body is in, because it's not just because, or even at all because of my weight whatsoever. So that's why I brought up this video, is because this keeps coming up over and over and over again. And it's really easy to blame the weight and to make weight the thing that's preventing our bodies from feeling better. Because the truth is, let's say you have a body where, it did feel a little better to, let's say, a hip or a back, if my weight is a little bit lower. But forcing your body to weigh lower isn't necessarily going to make your body feel better all the way. It's just not a cure. Now, if we work on strengthening the back, strengthening the joints, not the joints, but the ligaments and the muscles surrounding it, we're more likely to have less pain than if we put all our efforts into dieting, which is going to strip our bodies of nutrients, cause a more inflammatory state overall. You're chasing a solution that is only likely to either give you very, very little relief or just temporary relief. So that's that. So this is a more functional thing, and I want to go back to the idea of, sometimes we either overuse or underuse movement. And the truth is that movement is a way that we can work out, quote unquote, some of our angst and our troubles. But it's in a very internally aware state that we can do that, versus the way I used to do it 15 years ago, which is like, I'm going to go run on the treadmill and forget about my relationship problems and my lack of self-esteem and push down all the emotions I've had since I was little of all the misattunements. That was the way that I thought that I was fixing my problems, by being very, very physically active and fit. And okay, that actually was partially true, but it was just a very short-term fix over time, over and over and over again. And so, sorry about that, I had a little interruption. So if we're really looking for a way to use movement to help us, it has to come from the inside out, not from a prescriptive doing a bunch of stuff to be, pumping our muscles and using our lungs and all those kind of things, and really an internal, how does my body want to move? And when I do that, what happens, what shifts, what gets released, and can I be with this? So you might find that being more physically active is really helpful to you right now, or maybe like too overwhelming and more, it's more than your capacity to handle that it brings up stuff. So lower it back down and just do little bits that you can, and on smaller movements, and movements that don't feel overwhelming but still help you be in your body in a way that feels tolerable. So I hope this whole video makes sense. I just had so many people, again, 3 to 4 in the last 4 days of, all revolving around, like, I can be, happier if I'm more fit, but I have to lose weight to be more fit and have less pain if I'm more fit. And then I had this PT person come to me around, they're not going to heal as much if their nutrition isn't as good, and re-educating, really ourselves around this idea of like, movement is good, and it totally is honestly has a very important part of our life, but to use it to override actually being more fully in our bodies and not thinking at the level of using movement that got us in trouble with movement and food in the first place is super important. So I hope all that makes sense to you. Please leave me some questions under this. I haven't finished my post yet, but I'm going to talk in more depth and detail about that and some of my experiences and my clients' experiences around using movement honestly appropriately to enhance our lives and to help us feel more grounded in our lives and to help us feel better in the bodies that we have without trying to change the body. So hopefully it was helpful. I haven't finished my post yet. It'll be in the comments below when I finish it, and probably post it out in the next couple of days, just more widely. But thanks for listening and watching. Please leave me your comments, your experiences, and I'm happy to expand on it. If you want me to include that, if you have some questions you want me to answer in the post that I'm currently constructing, let me know, and I'll be happy to do that anonymously somehow, or switch it up to where you don't feel identified, or if you don't care, that's fine too. But let me know, and I'm happy to go more deeply, and I'm sure that will more widely help people. So thanks so much. Take care. Bye.